There are people who enter your life not to grow with you, but to slowly dismantle you from the inside. And the tragedy? You often invite them in, not because you're weak, but because you're kind, not because you're naive, but because you see potential, and not because you're blind, but because the world has never taught you how to see danger dressed as devotion. Carl Jung taught that the human psyche is not merely shaped by our thoughts or our dreams. It is sculpted by the relationships we enter. And sometimes those relationships do not awaken us. They distort us. Not all wounds come from enemies. Some come from the very hands you once reached for in trust. The world warns you about chaos, but it rarely warns you about charm. It warns you about storms, but never about silence. Yet silence can kill the soul just as efficiently as cruelty. There are 6 types of people Jungian philosophy implicitly warns you about. Not because they are evil, but because they have surrendered their own self-awareness. And people who cannot meet themselves in truth will always try to bend your truth into submission. 1, the chronic victim. Emotional dependency disguised as vulnerability. You recognize them instantly, not by the weight they carry, but by how they expect you to carry it. They do not seek support. They seek a savior. And once they sense your empathy, they will mold their identity around your kindness. They will wrap their helplessness around your strength until you can no longer breathe without guilt. You believe you're helping, but you're enabling, because they are not wounded in a way that seeks healing. They are addicted to being broken, because brokenness gives them attention, excuses, and emotional immunity. They've made victimhood their personality, not because trauma made them this way, but because they've learned that suffering is power, and helplessness is a form of control. They will sabotage their own growth just so they can remain the most fragile person in your world. And when you begin to heal yourself, when you begin to rise, they will resent you. Not because you're leaving them behind, but because your strength exposes the lie they've been telling themselves for years, that they cannot rise. And nothing enrages a professional victim more than someone who reminds them that they can. 2, the eternal mirror, the illusion of alignment. At first it feels magical. They reflect your thoughts, your values, your energy. It feels like synchronicity. It feels like fate. But what you're actually experiencing isn't a soul connection. It's mimicry. This person has no stable sense of self. They survive by mirroring whoever offers them security. They are not connecting with you. They are blending into you. And at first it feels like love. It feels like understanding. It feels like they just get you. But soon, the mask begins to slip. And you realize they have no center, no conviction, no core. They will agree with whatever keeps them close to you. But the moment you grow in a direction they cannot follow, the mirror cracks. And what's left is confusion, manipulation, guilt. You'll wonder what happened to the person you first met. The truth, that person never existed. They were an echo of you. Carl Jung warned of the fragmented self, the hollow individual who wears personas as armor. This person is not evil, but they are empty. And emptiness does not create. It copies until it consumes you. 3, the saboteur dressed as a realist, the voice of doubt coated in logic. They're the first to challenge your dreams. They don't scream. They suggest, are you sure that's practical? I just don't want to see you get hurt. You know, statistically, that rarely works out. And on the surface, it sounds wise, reasonable, caring. But dig deeper, and you'll find something else. Fear, not yours, theirs. because your ambition unsettles their mediocrity. Your clarity reveals their confusion. Your drive confronts every part of them that gave up too soon. They present their doubt as wisdom, but it's not wisdom. It's containment. They don't want you to fall. They want you to stay small. And if you're not careful, you'll start believing their voice is a compass, when really it's a cage. Jung spoke of the shadow that attacks what it cannot integrate. This person has not integrated their fear, so they project it onto you. And they'll do it politely, professionally, persuasively. Don't confuse their calm for truth. Sometimes the most dangerous lie is the one that sounds the most rational. 4. The charmer who never commits, the magnetic phantom. They sweep in with intensity, with attention, with just enough presence to ignite your nervous system. And then they disappear, reappear, disappear again. They're addicted to beginnings. They love the high of newness, the intoxication of being wanted. But commitment, depth, responsibility, that's where they vanish. They offer emotion without investment, connection without accountability, words without weight. And they will always leave you doubting yourself. Because the story is never that they are emotionally unavailable. It's that you're too much, too demanding, too intense, too eager for clarity. This person is not in your life to love you. They're there to feed off what it feels like to be loved by you. They are emotionally nomadic. They collect admiration like currency. And they only stay long enough to drain your emotional economy. Jung knew the psyche seeks wholeness, but the charmer lives in fragmentation. They don't want union. They want escape. And you are the escape until you're not. 5. The secret competitor, the friend who can't celebrate you. They laugh at your jokes. They show up to your events. They say they're proud, but something in their energy feels tight, off, cold beneath the warmth. This person is not in competition with your achievements. They're in competition with your identity. You don't threaten them with success. You threaten them by existing in a way that reveals how they haven't fully shown up. They will never say they're jealous. They will never criticize you outright. They will withdraw, sabotage in subtle ways. Stop supporting the moment you outgrow the version of you that made them feel safe. Their love has a ceiling, and that ceiling is your comfort zone. Cross it and watch them disappear. These people are not always malicious, but they are dangerous because they're close. And when they withhold love, you feel it. Jung taught that those who reject their own greatness resent it in others. This person hasn't rejected you. They've rejected themselves. You're just the mirror. 6. The gaslighter, the master of distortion. They're smooth, not always charming, but controlled, measured, calculated. You bring them truth. They bring you doubt. That's not what happened. You're overreacting. You're remembering it wrong. And it starts small. One disagreement, one moment of confusion, until you start questioning your memory, your instincts, your reality. Gaslighting is not about changing facts. It's about controlling perception. Because when they control how you perceive the past, they own your future. These people don't need to overpower you. They just need to get you to distrust yourself. And once you do, you belong to them. Not in body, but in mind. This is psychological warfare. And you win not by arguing, but by leaving. Because you cannot teach someone to honor your truth if they build their power on denying it. These 6 are not archetypes in a textbook. They are real. They walk beside you. They text you. They sit at dinner tables and call you love and friend. But they are not safe. Because safety is not about comfort. It is about truth. Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. It is time to stop calling your suffering fate. It is time to name it, see it, rise beyond it. You are not here to be emotionally firm. You are not here to carry the weight of people who refuse to walk. You are here to wake up, to choose yourself, to protect your psyche as if your life depends on it. Because it does. The quality of your life is not just shaped by your goals. It is shaped by who you let sit next to your soul. So audit your circle, not with paranoia, with clarity. And remember this, you don't need to hate them. You just need to heal you. And when you do, you'll see what they tried to dim was your light all along.